The day I died, I found my best friend and my boyfriend tangled up in bed together. They used my death to craft a narrative of deep affection and gained fame, each moving on to live their own happy lives. When I woke up again, I had become my best friend's young and beautiful sister. I looked at her refined and handsome husband beside her. This time, it was my turn to take everything from them. Chapter 1. I quietly opened the living room door, carrying a cake. Today was Jack's birthday. As his girlfriend, I had taken a high-speed train to surprise him. But as soon as I opened the door, I saw 2 pairs of shoes thrown haphazardly at the entrance and clothes, including underwear, scattered on the sofa. An ominous feeling surged within me. I hadn't even reached the bedroom when the sounds of intimacy began to filter through. I gently pushed open the slightly ajar bedroom door. On the bed, which I had carefully selected and decorated, a man and a woman were entwined. One was my beloved boyfriend, the other my trusted best friend, Lily. You sure are something, seducing your best friend's boyfriend. A best friend's stuff should be shared, easier. They were saying obscene things, behaving in ways I had never seen. I felt all strength leave my body, the cake slipped from my hands with a thud, startling them, and they looked towards the door. I fled. I couldn't face them, I just wanted to find a place to calm down. Jack quickly threw on some clothes and chased after me, calling out, "Anna, let me explain." I ran with all my might, down the stairs, out of the building, and onto the street, where a loud honk brought me back to reality. I was blinded by the car's headlights. No escape. With a thud, just like the cake falling from my hands, I too hit the ground. It's so painful. My soul floated above, watching the world after my death. I was a moderately famous internet celebrity, so many media outlets covered the incident. My father, upon hearing the news, suffered a heart attack and died on the way to the hospital. My only family left this world with me. Jack and Lily, leveraging my death, played the sympathetic card in front of the media and at my funeral, garnering public sympathy. Jack even became a well-known internet celebrity because of it. But they didn't end up together. After helping Jack secure his fame with his deep affection persona, Lily received a sum of money from him, and they each found true love and lived ordinary happy lives. I was the only one sacrificed. Chapter 2. Another blinding light, and I instinctively shielded my eyes. As my consciousness returned, I realized I was on a plane. How was I on a plane? I was supposed to be dead. I rummaged through my bag, looking at the ticket, mirror, and phone inside, and realized something. 5 years had passed. I was no longer Anna, but Rose. I knew Rose, Lily had mentioned her before. She was her young, beautiful sister who had completed her studies abroad. Reading through the messages and Lily's social media posts, I learned that Lily had gotten married through an arranged meeting 3 years ago and had a daughter this year. Rose was returning after finishing her studies, with her parents having passed away in a car accident, leaving Rose to temporarily stay with Lily. Looking at the happy family photos Lily posted, I clenched my fists. Lily, you destroyed everything I had, yet you get to live so happily. After disembarking, I saw Lily holding her daughter, with her husband Ian, standing beside her. Lily had changed a lot. She no longer wore bright, tight-fitting clothes but a plain, loose dress, with no makeup and a disheveled look. Her husband Ian was tall, wore glasses, and looked refined and handsome. I approached them, holding Lily's hand playfully saying, "Sister, it's been so long. You look more beautiful than ever." Then, turning to Ian, I winked. "Brother-in-law, it's our first meeting, so you better make a good impression on your sister-in-law." They both laughed, breaking the awkwardness of years apart. I wore an innocent smile, but deep down, I was plotting my revenge. "Lily, this time, it's my turn to take your happiness away." Chapter 3. I stayed at Lily's home for a few days, quickly getting a sense of their routine. Every morning, Lily would go out early to buy groceries, come back and make breakfast, Ian would then leave for work, and Lily would stay home with the child. In the afternoon, Lily would take the child to swimming lessons at 4, and Ian would come home at 5, with Lily returning at 6. The child was fussy at night, and to ensure Ian's work wasn't affected, they had been sleeping in separate beds since the child was born. One morning, I walked out of the bedroom in a nightgown while Lily was busy in the kitchen and Ian was watching a movie at the dining table. "Good morning, brother-in-law." I sat beside him. My nightgown had a deep neckline, and I could feel Ian's gaze lingering on me. "Why are you up so early?" he asked dryly. "Feigning trouble," I replied. "I need to find a job now that I've rested for a few days." As Lily hadn't come out of the kitchen yet, I stood up to return to my room and change. With my movement, more of my chest was exposed as if it would spill out. I could feel Ian's gaze fixed on my chest. When I came out, I had changed into a cool summer outfit, showing off my slender waist and long legs. Being young had its perks. After breakfast, I followed Ian out the door. In the cramped elevator, I could even hear Ian's breathing. I linked my arm through his, letting my chest brush against his arm. "Brother-in-law, guess where I'm going for an interview?" His breath quickened, and meeting my innocent gaze, he thought he was overthinking it. "Where?" Pouting, I replied. "You didn't even guess. Are you brushing me off?" "Fine, I'll tell you I'm interviewing at your company." With my overseas qualifications, getting into Ian's company was easy, and I soon became his colleague, naturally commuting together daily. Sitting in Ian's car, we chatted away, and I often teased him with glimpses of skin, making his heart race, but then I'd look at him innocently, feigning purity. At home, I'd maintain my distance from Ian in front of Lily to avoid suspicion. Chapter 4. One night, Ian went out drinking with friends, and Lily had already put the child to bed. I waited until late at night, and hearing the sound of the lock turning, I quickly ran into the bathroom, undressing as if I was about to shower, showing off my fair body. I knew he always went to the bathroom first after drinking. Ian opened the bathroom door while unzipping his pants. He hadn't expected me to be there so late, and he froze. Naked, facing him, I turned away, blushing, and asked him to leave. Perhaps emboldened by the alcohol, he approached, reaching out to touch me. I gave him a coquettish look. "Sister is still in the room, go out quickly." He reluctantly withdrew, his eyes lingering on my body. I smirked. It's the things you can see but can't have that make you itch the most. After that, Ian's gaze held more desire. But I pretended nothing had happened, continuing to face him with innocence. When not working, I would help Lily with house chores. She was now busy with cooking, cleaning, and childcare daily, a far cry from the party-loving girl I knew. As we shelled beans together, I casually asked, "Sis, why don't you hang out with your old friends anymore?" Lily replied, "I'm busy with the baby and cooking for you guys, I have no time. Besides, I don't have many friends." Feigning surprise, I said, "But you had a best friend you were really close to, right? You mentioned her before." She responded nonchalantly, "She died a long time ago. Besides, she was more like my tag-along." I gritted my teeth. Yes, I saw her as a friend, a best friend, always giving her what she wanted. I worked part-time to buy her luxury gifts for her birthday, while she gave me her used things for mine. But I cherished our friendship and didn't mind. To her, I was just a fool, a lapdog. I wouldn't just take her lover, I would ruin their reputations. Chapter 5. While working, I had someone gather information on Jack. With Ian, I maintained a facade of innocence, letting our interactions stay at casual touches. But I noticed he was more attentive, his gaze often following me. One weekend, Ian was about to leave, and I hurried out with my bag. "Brother-in-law, where are you going? Take me along if it's on the way." In the car, Ian eyed my outfit. "Dressed so nicely, going on a date?" I glanced down at my black mini dress and thigh-high stockings, playful yet sexy. Playfully hitting him, I laughed. "No, just meeting some girlfriends for tea." "Jealous, brother-in-law?" He pulled me into his arms, catching me off guard. I quickly pushed him away. "Stop it, you'll ruin my makeup." I didn't want him to get me too easily. Men don't value what's easily obtained. Reluctantly, he sighed and drove me to my destination. After he drove off, I turned towards the nearby cafe. Jack frequently visited this cafe on weekend afternoons. Entering, I quickly spotted him, matured and radiating masculinity. I sat next to him. "Hey handsome, is this seat taken?" Annoyed by the interruption, he softened upon seeing a beautiful woman in his preferred style. Glancing at the empty seats around, he looked puzzled. Feigning concern, I said, "Please, I don't like coffee. If I sit alone, I'll have to order. But if I sit with you, they'll think we're together and won't make me order." His attitude warmed, having found another coffee hater. I knew he disliked coffee but preferred the cafe over going home to his wife. Jack had married his boss's daughter for career advancement, but he found her insufferable and often avoided her. We chatted, bonding over shared interests. After 2 hours, as I checked my phone, I interrupted him. My friend stood me up. "I've been waiting for 2 hours." Seeing my disappointment, he comforted me. "Think of it as making a new friend." "New friend." I smiled. "Can I add you on WeChat?" Hesitating, he eventually handed me his phone. "Sure, but I might not always respond promptly." Feigning displeasure, I pouted. "How ungentlemanly of you to make the lady initiate the ad." He laughed. All right. Beautiful lady, may I scan your WeChat?" Chapter 6. Having added Jack's contact, I refrained from messaging him immediately. Too much eagerness would seem desperate. But I kept myself on his radar by posting selfies tailored to his taste on my social media. Soon, I had little time to focus on Jack. The company was organizing a beach retreat for the department. I meticulously prepared for the 3-day, 2-night event. On the day of departure, Lily packed Ian's belongings, handing him the suitcase while reminding him to take care of me. Ian glanced at me with an unreadable expression. "Don't worry. Rose is quite popular at the company, plenty of people will look after her." I just smiled sweetly. After a long journey, we finally arrived at our destination. I changed into my swimsuit and appeared in the hotel lobby. My wine-red bikini accentuated my fair skin and curvaceous figure. The men couldn't take their eyes off me. Just then, Ian approached, blocking their view. He was shirtless, revealing his well-defined muscles. Teasingly, I said, "Brother-in-law, I didn't know you had such a great body." He smiled, his eyes fixated on me. "Let's go swimming." Pouting, I replied. "But I can't swim. Can you teach me, brother-in-law?" His eyes darkened with desire, but he agreed. Chapter 7. The beach was vast, and everyone spread out to play. Ian took me to a shallower part of the sea. As the waves crashed over, I couldn't keep my balance and clung to Ian's arm, pressing my body against his. Ian encircled me with his strong arm, his hand resting on my waist. Everywhere he touched felt like it was burning. We walked further until the water reached my waist. He demonstrated swimming and then encouraged me to try. But I was too scared of drowning and couldn't keep my balance in the waves, so I refused to let go of him. Standing behind me with his chest pressed against my back, he held my waist, whispering in my ear, "Don't be afraid. I've got you." I felt something hard against my hips and blushed. As I attempted to swim, Ian's hand on my stomach felt increasingly bold, pressing down and exploring more intimately. Feigning ignorance, I continued to paddle. To my shock, his hand slipped into my bikini bottoms. Losing strength, I fell into his arms. He leaned in and kissed me deeply, one hand holding me tightly, the other roaming freely. Dazed by his kiss, I eventually pushed him away. "Brother-in-law, we can't do this. We can't betray my sister. She bore you a child, we can't do this to her." I looked at him with tearful eyes. Momentarily stunned, he stopped, his heavy breathing echoing in my ear. Taking advantage of his hesitation, I waded back to shore. Chapter 8. That night, everyone gathered around a bonfire for games. I avoided Ian's gaze, chatting with colleagues instead. Soon, we were both chosen for Truth or Dare. Ian stood to my left. He drew, "Kiss the person on your right for 1 minute." And the crowd erupted in cheers. Blushing, I was nudged closer to him. He gripped my shoulders and leaned in to kiss me. The cheering reached a peak. Mindful of the crowd, he only lightly brushed his lips against mine. As the minute ended, I quickly darted my tongue over his lips before pulling away. In my hotel room, after a shower, I heard a knock at the door. Opening it, I found Ian. He wasted no time, scooping me up and tossing me onto the bed. This time, I didn't resist. Over the next 2 days, we behaved like a passionate couple, sneaking around the beach and shallow waters. He released his desires on me, his eyes filled with affection. On the day of our return, I sat in his car, 5 minutes from home. I looked at him with sad eyes. "Brother-in-law, let's forget these days. Go back and treat my sister well. Let's pretend nothing happened." He didn't reply, but that night, he still sneaked into my room. Chapter 9. Lily continued her homemaker routine, but one day she confided in me, distressed over Ian's coldness and asking if I'd seen any women approaching him at work. I sincerely assured her, "No, sis. Don't worry, I'll keep an eye on him. He's just busy." Then I suggested she buy a sexy nightgown to rekindle their romance. I had no fear she could win Ian back. Her figure had changed significantly, and wearing such attire would probably backfire. As expected, although Ian slept in her room that night, he still came to my room in the middle of the night. Having secured Ian, I turned my attention back to Jack, chatting intermittently on social media. Meanwhile, I created a fake profile posing as a wealthy man and added Lily. Feeling lonely and frustrated, Lily quickly opened up to me, the fictitious man. Soon, Jack wanted to meet at a hotel. The real game began. I agreed but insisted on booking the hotel myself. I set up cameras in the room and drugged the drinks. On the other end, using the fake profile, I lured Lily out, playing on her loneliness. Before she left home, I coaxed her into drinking the drugged water. The drug would ignite their primal desires, making them feel as if they were in a dream. I texted Jack, claiming I was stuck in traffic, and persuaded him to drink the room's water, shyly asking him to turn off the lights. When Lily knocked on the hotel room door, they were both already desperate for release, quickly entangling themselves. Once they were done, they sobered up, shocked to see each other. "Jack? Why is it you? Lily? Where's my sweetie?" Sweetie was the fake name I used with him. Confused and unable to explain, they parted on bad terms. I immediately deleted the accounts I used to contact them. Chapter 10. Lily, perhaps out of guilt, treated Ian with excessive tenderness over the next few days. Feeling her warmth, Ian was conflicted and didn't visit me for a few nights. I wasn't worried. I posted the footage of Jack and Lily's infidelity online on a bright, sunny day. Lily was just an ordinary housewife, but Jack was a well-known internet celebrity. Especially since he had gained fame with a deep affection persona, and later received blessings when he married his boss's daughter. But now, his image was shattered. The video quickly went viral, with netizens digging up old photos from my case, noticing Jack and Lily's disheveled appearance at the scene. This revelation thrust them into the spotlight. Oh my God, were they involved while Anna was still around? Could they have caused Anna's accident? I used to think Jack was a deeply affectionate guy. He really deceived us all. The public condemned the two of them. Lily initially didn't know about this until Ian threw his phone at her. Seeing the video, she turned pale, all color draining from her face. Stuttering, she began. Honey, let me explain." As she tried to approach Ian, he pushed her away, making her fall onto the sofa. "Explain? Your face is clear in the video, what is there to explain? Do you know how everyone looked at me in the neighborhood today?" Ian grabbed some clothes and left, saying, "I'll be staying elsewhere for a few days." Ian had double standards, excusing his actions while condemning others. Lily sobbed on the sofa, and I quickly went to comfort her. "Sis, how could you be so foolish? Ian is such a good man. She continued crying. I don't know what happened that day. I didn't mean to. I wiped her tears, feigning concern. Ian is really angry. He might want a divorce. Panicked, Lily said. What should I do? I don't want a divorce. Rose, help me think of something. Solemnly, I replied. Sis, you don't know how people are talking about you online. They think you were with that man before and even blame you for Anna's death. Lily was terrified, sweating profusely. If this continues, Ian might have no choice but to divorce you. I stoked her fear. Desperate, Lily begged me for help. Sis, I'll always help you because we're the closest sisters in the world. Chapter 11. Lily hesitantly started a live stream, looking scared. I encouraged her softly from the side. Just explain clearly, don't say too much. I had told Lily to live stream and explain herself, knowing that facing public scrutiny, she wouldn't be able to control the narrative. As more viewers joined the stream, I signaled Lily to start. Hello, everyone. I'm Lily. Her voice trembled, tears welled up, making her look pitiful. I'm being wronged in this situation. That day was an accident. I was drunk and don't know how it happened. I love my husband and our family. We just had a daughter last year. I wouldn't ruin my family. The comments poured in. Drunk in broad daylight? Who believes that? So why were you drinking alone with your ex-best friend's boyfriend? Would you end up in a hotel after drinking? We all know what that means. Yeah, explain why you ended up in a hotel room. Panicking, Lily blurted out. I was drugged. I really don't know anything. The viewers seized on this. Drugged? Are you saying Jack drugged you? Reluctantly, Lily nodded. Yes, Jack drugged me. He pretended to be an old friend to lure me out and drugged me. Jack, dealing with his own fallout, was furious upon hearing Lily's accusation, especially since his wife had served him divorce papers and his father-in-law was ready to blacklist him. Seeing Lily pin all the blame on him, he lost his composure, joining her live stream. Lily hesitated to accept, but viewers pressured her, questioning her credibility if she refused. The stream's viewership soared past 1 million. Jack appeared on screen, furious. You're saying I drugged you? You think I'd look at you with your out-of-shape body? You set me up with a woman and then pulled a scam. His eyes were cold. If you want money, just say so. Stop pretending. Humiliated in front of millions, Lily retorted. You tried to force yourself on me before, and then paid me hush money. Confidently, she said. I'll find the transfer records to prove it. To prevent more outbursts, she ended the stream. Chapter 12. Though the stream ended, the scandal's heat only intensified, with most people believing Lily. Jack's words now seemed futile. Admiringly, I told Lily. Sis, you're impressive. Everyone believes you're the victim now. Though temporarily vindicated, Lily was still anxious. Seizing the moment, I went to persuade Ian to return home. Brother-in-law, you saw it. Sis is the victim. Forgive her this time. I clung to his arm, pleading. Ian remained conflicted. Cuddling closer, I whispered. Don't you miss me? You don't know how much I miss you. Intrigued, he asked. How much? Placing his hand on my chest, I blushed. Feel my heart, and you'll know. Gripping me tightly, he wanted more, but I stopped him. Let's go home. I want you to go back with me, please. Eventually, Ian returned home. But his attitude towards Lily remained cold, while he became bolder with me. Lily, busy in the kitchen, remained oblivious to our kisses in the living room or our secret showers together. Even as she slept with the child, Ian and I shared intimate moments in another room. Covering my mouth to stifle my sounds, Ian's increased fervor made it thrillingly dangerous. Unaware, Lily continued her routine. As the scandal cooled, fewer people discussed it. Time to stir the pot once more. Using an anonymous account, I posted the chat logs from my fake profile with Lily. In the chats, Lily expressed her loneliness and sent seductive photos, eagerly accepting hotel invitations. The scandal reignited, trending once again. I knew they were both scum. Her story never added up. My feelings were played. Both are despicable. Lily locked herself in her room, emerging cautiously after a day. Seeing Ian hadn't filed for divorce yet, she relaxed slightly. I sympathetically served her food. "Sis, eat up. You must be starving." She didn't notice Ian's hand caressing my leg under the table, feeling touched. "Thank you, Rose, for always standing by me." Turning to Ian, she said, "I'll strive to be a good wife." I smiled. "We're your family, of course, we stand by you." Lily continued her homemaker dream, avoiding her phone and wearing a mask when out, pretending nothing had happened. Until one day, I sent her a message, luring her home early from the child's swimming lesson. The door was left slightly open on purpose, just for her to see. I let out deliberate sounds asking Ian, "Brother-in-law, who do you like more, me or sis?" Without pausing, Ian replied, "You, my sweet Rose, my dear Rose." Hearing a loud crash from the door, we turned to see Lily stunned. Lily rushed to hit me, but Ian blocked her. Her face twisted with rage, she shouted, "What are you doing? Rose, how could you seduce your brother-in-law?" I calmly dressed. "Sis, isn't a best friend stuff meant to be shared? That includes your husband." Just as she had said when she and Jack betrayed me. Unable to touch me, she cursed profusely. I chuckled. "Didn't you sleep with your best friend's boyfriend? You can dish it out but can't take it?" Ian, frowning, pushed her away. "Enough. If you can't handle it, we'll divorce." Collapsing to the ground, she sobbed. "Divorce? I won't let you two off that easily. I'll expose your affair." Indifferently, I said, "Go ahead. Who will believe you? See if anyone sides with you." She could only stare at me with hatred. Chapter 13. Ian filed for divorce. Lily's infidelity was proven, leaving her with minimal assets and no custody of the child. Accusations of our affair lacked evidence, and no one believed her. Everyone saw her as a liar, trying to extort more money. After the divorce, Ian proposed to me. We took wedding photos, and I made sure Lily saw them by sending her copies. Rumors said she struggled to find work, resorting to cleaning jobs, barely making ends meet. She frequently visited Ian, hoping for reconciliation, but he grew increasingly disgusted. I hoped the sight of my wedding photos would ruin her appetite. Jack fared worse. After his divorce and a beating from his ex-wife's men, he left the hospital with little money. Blacklisted by his father-in-law, no one dared hire him. Jack resorted to physical labor, but his pampered life left him unfit for it. Influenced by certain people, he turned to gambling, quickly accruing debts and constantly on the run. They all got their just desserts. Ian planned our wedding, but I left him a letter and vanished. I apologized, I had used him. Being with him trapped me in hatred, and I couldn't love him. Moreover, if he could abandon Lily for me, he might do the same to me someday. I refused to be a joke again. I moved to a new city, changed my name, found a quiet job, and traveled during breaks. During my travels, I met a younger man, still in college, who pursued me relentlessly. I rejected him, but he persisted. He asked me to wait 2 years for him to graduate and join me. I thought he was joking. But 2 years later, one morning, he stood before me. I continued rejecting him, but he settled next door. 2 years later, I accepted his proposal and confessed my past misdeeds. Bathed in the amber glow of streetlights, his eyes, like a flawless moon, were sincere and gentle. "It's okay. You have me now."